The unexpected joys of getting older. You know what nobody tells you about getting older? That somewhere along the path, life gets easier in the weirdest possible ways. Not because your knees improve, they absolutely do not, but because expectations drop dramatically. And you know what? It's kind of glorious. At this point in life, nobody expects me to stay out until midnight, help them move, troubleshoot their printer, host elaborate dinners, or circle back on that exciting career opportunity. And I cannot overstate the peace this has brought me. Getting older has been sold to us as this terrible, tragic decline. But there are some very funny, very freeing perks that nobody talks about. And today I'd like to celebrate them. Because despite what the world says, there are some real unexpected wins to getting older. Lowered expectations. One of the greatest gifts of getting older is that people expect less from you. And I mean that in the best possible way. When you're younger, everybody needs something. Can you help me move? Can you drive me to the airport? Can you work late? Can you fix this? Can you host that? Can you be energetic and attractive and ambitious all at the same time? How exhausting. And now people look at me and think, she's probably tired. And they could be right, but I don't hate that. Nobody's asking me to help carry furniture up 3 flights of stairs. No one expects feats of strength or endurance. Nobody's calling saying, hey, Susan, any chance you can drive 6 hours in bad weather to help me assemble furniture? Nope, no calls like that. FOMO becomes, please don't invite me. Remember FOMO, fear of missing out? At this age, it has transformed into the fear of being expected to attend. I don't fear missing out anymore. If it's a large, loud, late gathering, I want to be excluded, respectfully. And sometimes there's nothing better than canceled plans. If someone texts, sorry, I'm going to have to reschedule, suddenly my evening opens up. Comfy clothes, possibly a glass of wine, a movie, maybe a snack at 9:30 that nobody can stop me from eating. Pure craziness, an absolute luxury. And social gatherings are different now too. The beautiful thing about being older is your presence is no longer critical. If I leave a party early now, nobody grabs my arm dramatically and says, we just can't continue without you. The party continues just fine, and I can quietly disappear at 8:47 like a tired woodland creature. The bliss of bedtime. Can we talk about how wonderful bedtime has become? When I was younger, going to bed early felt embarrassing, like people thought I must have been sick. And now, being in bed by 10 feels like I've won at life. Clean sheets, a fan running, phone charging. This is peak existence. And the older I get, the more I understand why older people get so excited about practical comforts. A good mattress, amazing. A grocery store with easy parking, outstanding. Finding a pair of pants with an elastic waistband that still looks respectable? Okay, that's the kind of victory younger people simply cannot understand yet. The senior discount emotional journey. And how about that senior's discount? At first it feels offensive. The cashier says, would you like the senior discount? And internally you're like, do I look like I fought in a war? But eventually you're practically asking about it before they finish ringing in your order. Is there a discount for being elderly and delightful? Because listen, if society insists on aging me, I will be accepting coupons. At this point, I want discounts everywhere. Restaurants, coffee shops, pharmacy. I'm not too proud. The glorious freedom of not caring. One of the best parts of getting older is realizing how much energy we wasted caring what other people thought. I spent decades wondering, am I pretty enough, smart enough, successful enough, thin enough, interesting enough? And my answer to myself was always a resounding no. And now my attitude is, who cares? Nobody cares. And what a relief. And it's not that I've completely stopped caring. It's that I finally realized most people are too busy worrying about themselves to spend any time thinking about me, which is oddly comforting. Now I wear what I want, and I eat what I want, and I read what I want, and I decorate how I want. And if someone doesn't like it, they'll survive. The tech support retirement plan. One personal joy for me, as someone who worked in IT for years, helping others with their technology problems, was something I just couldn't get away from. But now people no longer ask me for tech support, and I cannot explain the peace and absolute freedom this brings. For years it was, my printer won't connect. I clicked something and now the internet is gone. Can you just quickly look at my laptop? There is no such thing as a quick computer question, ever. It's always a 3-hour emotional event, and then I leave myself open to future calls, long after I even remember what I did, hearing people say, well, it was fine until you fixed it. But now people assume I probably don't know technology anymore, which is fantastic. I worked hard for decades. I do not want to spend retirement explaining why someone's laptop is slow to boot up. You're on your own now. Wisdom, the trade-off. To be fair, maybe my processing speed has slowed a little. Sometimes I walk into a room and completely forget why I'm there. But we gain something else, perspective and wisdom, and the ability to recognize nonsense quickly. The eyes may get weaker, but you could see through the BS much faster. And that only comes from living and from mistakes and embarrassment, heartbreak, starting over, and getting back up again. All those years teach you things. There's definitely a kind of intelligence that only comes with experience. You stop panicking over every little thing because you've already survived so many things you never thought you could. And you realized most of the things we worried about when we were younger really weren't worth it. The secret joy of a small life. I think one of the biggest surprises of getting older is learning to appreciate a smaller, quieter life. When we're younger, we often think happiness has to look impressive. A big career, big social life, big house, big achievements. But now, a peaceful morning feels luxurious. A walk, a coffee, a clean kitchen, a conversation with someone you love, a quiet evening at home. Gold. I think many of us finally realize peace and a slow, simple life are underrated. Childlike joy with grown-up money. And this might be my favorite part. When many of us were younger, we had the dreams and energy, but not the money. And now some of us finally have a little breathing room, financially speaking, and it's wonderful. I honestly feel more like a kid now than I did when I was a kid, because now I can actually buy the silly little things that make me happy. A fancy treat, an unnecessary splurge, a spur of the moment trip or outing, another gray hoodie that I absolutely don't need. Childlike desires, grown-up money, no permission slips required. So yes, getting older comes with challenges. Of course it does. But it also comes with freedom. Freedom from proving yourself and chasing approval. Freedom from pretending and from sweating the small stuff. I'd say that's a pretty fair trade. Because while people may expect less from us now, it doesn't mean we are less. If anything, we finally know who we are. And there's something deeply joyful about that. Anyway, friends, those are a few of my unexpected perks of getting older. And if you have one I missed, leave it in the comments. I have a feeling we could make a very long list, and hopefully we'll remember where we put it. Thanks for spending this time with me. I appreciate you. Until next time, take care.